Darren Hill, welcome to 5 Minutes with O.
Thanks, Leanne.
Now, in 23 years, I've heard of a lot of keynote titles, right? But the truth about people, that's a different one.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the truth about people, haven't we been looking for the truth about people forever? Ancient Greek philosophers used to wonder what the truth about people was. There's drawings on caves in Arnhem Land in the Northern Territory about the truth about people. But there's a real business context around it, I believe. I mean, in essence, if we can understand the truth about people, then what that does is give us a foundation about how to trust people. And so whether it's sales, marketing, leadership, building teams, any of those tenets within our workplace are fundamentally about understanding the truth about people.
Trust is an important part of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty hard to get anything done without trust. We often talk about, and certainly it's been written by Stephen M.R. Covey, his great book, The Speed of Trust. He talks about how quickly we can get things done, how quickly we can mobilise people, and we can do things to exceptional quality when we have trust on board.
So the truth about people came about through your background and as a behavioural scientist?
Yeah, so I'm a behavioural scientist, but I haven't really, I guess, walked a linear path. I actually started out the first decade of my working career straight out of school as an abattoir worker working in a meatworks. And so people go, how do you go from being an abattoir worker to a behavioural scientist? You know, it's pretty random, but really it isn't. So I went from being an abattoir worker to working as a bouncer.
In a pub?
Stay with me. So abattoir worker to a bouncer.
Right.
Then I went to being a publican and running the pub. I went from the runaround of the public service from running a pub to the runaround of the public service. And then I found a great love for behavioural science and the academia of studying people. So it's pretty simple, really. I've gone from cutting up animals and chucking them into boxes. Then I filled animals full of grog and chucked them out in the pub at midnight. And now I study animals for a living. They're just the two-legged variety.
And what does your wife say about you?
Oh, I like to think that I'm an observer of humanity, but my wife reliably informs me that I'm just a stalker with a clipboard. So I'll cop that. But another way to describe what I do as a behavioural scientist is that I guess my business is the thinking that drives your business.
Right. And bringing this back to the corporate keynote,
yes,
I love the information on trend spotting because really it's so important at the moment. We get a lot of people calling us and asking us for speakers on trends.
Yeah.
So how does it relate to trends?
Okay, so for starters, a trend is a general direction in which something tends to move. And so I guess we're very familiar with lots of different trends like weather trends and financial trends and fashion trends. I mean, you're right on trend, Leanne, whereas me personally, I'm just waiting for socks and sandals to come into fashion. I'm reliably told that that'll never happen. But so behavioural trends, and when we look at it from a workplace context, is that I think underpinning so much of what we do at work is affected and driven by these trends. And so part of the work that I do with organisations, and certainly in the keynotes I do, is to get them to understand that sales and marketing, that leadership and management and so many different areas in the work that we do is actually driven hard by these trends. As part of that, you and I have got an interesting project we're putting together. We're doing an e-book.
Yes.
And you're whacking that up on Ovations?
Yes, that's going to be an offering with the newsletter this month.
Yeah, awesome. And so it's an e-book that describes the 5 behavioural trends that you really need to be aware of in the next decade. And it's exciting. I guess we see technology trends a lot, and what this does is tell us why technology trends, they either are fads or whether they hang around. And it's at a societal level you get shifts within behaviour, and it's those trends I think that we've really got to be aware of.
So we can download the ebook, look at the 5 different trends, and in the meantime too we can get you into Keynote for sales or management. Yeah. But I love how this relates to leadership.
Yeah. So it's a passion of mine to work with leaders and to get them to understand people better, because in essence that's what leadership is, isn't it? It's to actually mobilise people to move them towards a better outcome. And to understand that, we need to understand the truth about them. We need to understand the drivers at a societal, an organisational and an individual level that happens in regards to behavioural trends. And all of this, I think, makes leadership so much easier, because it's often been quoted that leadership is the most discussed, least understood topic in the world. But I think that we can understand leadership a whole lot better when we can understand people a lot better.
Darren Hill, thank you for spending 5 minutes with O.
Thanks, Leanne.